Tá an deis á hapú aga minis, córas étrum, córas iarnród umpar a haláthair do Catherine Connolly. Agus is tótha tá an ceist thar a bheith tábhachtach, agus is sí an ceistí ná riire an bhfuil an dánacht ionad, an bhfuil an crógacht ionad, ceannaireacht a haspáint agus glacú leis an cuincreab seo, córas iarnród éadrom a haláthair do Catherine Connolly. Minister, I'm seizing the opportunity with you today particularly, although I would have dearly loved to have raised Gaza as well, but I'm raising this with you as Minister for Public Expenditure and Reform. And the decision to roll out a light rail system in Galway requires courage, vision and leadership. And I'm specifically asking you, do you have that courage to embrace this project and roll out a light rail system for Galway as part of the solution to the chronic traffic congestion? The provision of a light rail system perfectly aligns with the national policy objectives in the revised national planning framework, and specifically I'll refer to objectives 10 and 97, required a transport-orientated development approach served by a high-capacity public transport in the metropolitan areas of the 5 cities destined to grow, Galway being one of them. Moreover, at section 2.1 of the revised national planning framework, it clearly sets out that the 4 cities, including Galway, will require the potential of all 4 cities to be realised at an unprecedented rate to create viable alternatives to Dublin. We have any amount of policies that this provision of light rail complies with, but let me just look at climate action and climate change, where it will actively help to reduce our emissions. In relation to the costs of not doing something, the Department of Transport very helpfully published a report, The Economic Cost of Congestion in the Regional Cities. At a minimum, on an annual basis at the moment, traffic congestion in Galway is costing 35 million. That will rise to an estimate 107 million and more in 2040. We're not talking here about the costs of fines, we're not talking about here the costs of lack of productivity, the costs of travelling and so on. And not alone that, but that report clearly said we need a more proactive deployment of sustainable transport for the growing traffic congestion in Galway. I'm saying clearly on the record that a huge amount of work has been done in relation to this project. A feasibility study has been published. It says it's eminently doable. Gluers on the ground, in addition to 24,000 signatures that I collected in 2018, says this, are begging the government to do this.
Thanks very much, Deputy Connolly, and familiar with the serious congestion which exists in Galway City and indeed in the broader Galway region. And as you know, the National Transport Authority has been developing the Galway Metropolitan Area Transport Strategy to inform what's possible for the future in the context of public transport, but also road infrastructure in the Galway region, with and in conjunction with Galway City Council and Galway County Council. And part of the development of this Metropolitan Area Transport Strategy necessitates the mode-specific analysis being undertaken for a light rail feasibility study and also the strategic roads feasibility study. And that was published, the light rail study was published by the NTA on the 30th of October 2024. And the backdrop here is obviously the ongoing consideration of the ring road, which you're familiar with, but also I know the demand within Galway City for light rail. What we're doing within the National Development Plan, first of all, is prioritising transport infrastructure more generally. And that will involve a serious uplift in investment in transport infrastructure over the next 5 years, but also to set out a longer-term position to really give confidence to the development of public transport infrastructure in our cities and between our towns and within our regions in particular. So obviously the work that's going on with the Metropolitan Area Transport Strategy will help inform what's possible in the short to medium term, and I know that's being progressed by the 2 respective councils. And certainly I'm open as Minister to that engagement. We've had a kind of stop-start nature to light rail both here in Dublin and also in other parts. I think we do need, it's an effective way of delivering public transport in urban areas, and I think we need to have a better pipeline of light rail over the longer term, and I think the National Transport Authority and TAI need to work on that in terms of the respective metropolitan area transport strategies. But I think for Galway, the immediate position is obviously there's a lot of interest in Galway, as you know, on the development of the ring road for many citizens and people that you represent, but also people in Galway who want to see light rail developed as an option within the urban sphere. Congestion is a serious issue, and I canvassed in Galway on many occasions last year. Public transport and the ring road were probably 50% of the issues raised on the door with many people that I engaged with. And I think as a government, with our prioritisation of transport infrastructure, we want to make real progress on some of the projects which can be started quickly, but also set out the longer term position around the area transport strategy about what can be delivered for Galway and the broader west of Ireland region over the coming period.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy.
Minister, I welcome the fact that you're going to prioritise transport in the revised plan. There's no sense of urgency when it comes to Galway City. Its growth has been hampered. It simply can't develop. I haven't time to go into the lack of infrastructure when it comes to basic sewage facilities. That's for another day, and I've raised it before. I'm sticking with just one issue today as one part of a sustainable solution. 2018, 24,000 people signed a petition appealing to the government to carry out a feasibility study. That took till last year. We cannot grow Galway. It's just a pretence and a mockery to say Galway can grow. It can't. There's a lack of infrastructure. Then we have obligations under our climate action plans. And one of the easiest way and the straightest way to comply with those obligations is to run out a public transport system, light rail and park and ride. Park and ride went into the city development plan in 2004, 21 years. It still hasn't been run out. What we need is vision, boldness from a government, boldness in the best sense of the word, to give the thumbs up to a light rail, put it into the revised, I'm going to finish, the revised National Planning Framework. And finally, there is a presentation in the AV room today at 3 o'clock, and I would invite all of you to that presentation in relation to light rail. Garmag.
Thanks very much, Deputy Connolly. And look, I think we all share the objectives of significantly improving transport infrastructure for Galway City, and obviously the work that's been undertaken around the feasibility study for light rail is important in that context. I know the National Transport Authority are considering that with the two respective councils. There has been significant investment in Kent Station, as you know, and to try and improve the connectivity with commuters. We've had it with Oranmore and others where there's been investment and upgrades. There's been a significant work undertaken relating to bus connects in Galway as well. But look, I acknowledge, and that's why I think I welcome the work that's been undertaken around the feasibility study for light rail in particular. And as I said previously, I think we need to build more momentum on having more light rail in some of our urban areas where, compared to our last number of years where we've had a stop-start nature to it. It's an effective way of delivering public transport as we've seen in Dublin, for example, and it's something that will be considered in the context of the national.
Thank you. We now move to